Hair is looking a fucking mess. Trying to enjoy Love Island. Arsenal will not let me do so. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live show, another live She Knows Arsenal. Make sure you guys are liking the video and subscribing to the channel. We have a bomba. We have a bomba. From Fabrizio Romano. Here we go. It's an exclusive from Fabrizio Romano. Noni Madueke to Arsenal. Here we go. Fee agreed in excess of £50 million with add-ons included. Green light from Chelsea. Thanks for that. Madueke already agreed a 5-year deal at Arsenal days ago, and he's now set to complete the move. Winger leaves Chelsea to join Arsenal. I mean, am I meant to be excited about this? I don't know. I told you guys I would go live again if something happened, and something did happen, but it's not what I wanted. I was like secretly hoping that this would fall through because of the fee or because they came to their senses, but they have pushed through a £50 million deal for Noni Madueke in a summer where we're meant to be improving our forward options, getting level raisers, and making sure that we can compete with the likes of City and Liverpool. The first attacker through the door after multiple windows of not even looking at a dilapidated attack is a player that unequivocally does not make us any better whatsoever. Give me all the copium and hopium you can. I know yesterday we had some fun, talking to you guys in the community about, like what he could add. But this is so sobering. This is so incredibly sobering. He just doesn't make us better. Like, I don't see any positive in this player whatsoever. I just don't get it. I don't think I ever will. I will support him in terms of not wanting him to fail. That's just not how I operate. But this is just not the direction that we should be going in. He's just not better than anything that we have. He's a sideways move, if not a backwards move. It's dark, I don't know. I'm trying to see the positives. It's only going to be positive if he literally gets here and hits the ground running. He has to hit the ground running. He cannot be average, which is the way he looked at Chelsea. Wow. I'm fucking speechless. Excuse my language, but I am just shocked that Arsenal would do such a thing. We just needed to buy good attackers. You know, it's literally just makes no sense. I just don't get it. He just doesn't make us better at all. He's too expensive for a squad player, but not really good enough to lift the level on the left-hand side. He's from a rival. It's just, there's never a summer window where we go through it without embarrassing ourselves at some stage. There's just nothing to like, there's no positive to it. Nothing, because you also know that we're not going to you're not going to get whatever else you need. If it ends up being Nani and Jokeris, or even worse, Ollie Watkins, I just cannot do the club anymore. It's just embarrassing. I mean, you got Matisse coming out here with pre-made videos about paying your fines and your petition failed. And I'm just like, are we ever going to go through a window without being a laughing stock? We are one of the most ridiculous clubs on the planet. A universally not wanted signing is coming, and we have paid over the odds for it, while our rivals are getting Kudus and Wirtz and Shirky and players like that, Marmouche, fucking Alenga, and we're buying Noni Madueke from Chelsea. Whoever sanctioned this, I need your resignation tomorrow. It's just because he's not going to improve us. I've already written him off. Like, I know that that's like not the right way to think about him. Maybe I've lost my head, so I'll think differently tomorrow, but I've written him off. I've written him off. I just don't think that he's a player that's going to make us any better, whatsoever. I've watched half of a comp and I'm like, damn, you don't even look good in your best, like your best deal, like you're the best that you could look, where they're picking up the best things. You look ass, man. It's just, and listen, it's not his fault. If I was Noni Madueke and I'd already been replaced by Chelsea with multiple players, I would love for a club like Arsenal to come and save me. I would love it, so it's not his fault, it's not his fault. And so, I'm speaking about him not from a personal level, but as a player, I don't rate him. I don't rate him. He's not going to lift our levels. Like, he's not going to make us any better. I am not interested in this signing whatsoever. It's like a 0. They're going to be trying to make us think that this guy is good enough, and he's not. He's a sideways move, if not backwards. He's not, there's nothing he's adding. I just saw a clip from Arsene Wenger, saying that, the most interesting thing or exciting thing about PSG and why they're so good is they have so many dribblers. And I'm like, right. They have Dembele, they have Kvaratskhelia, they have Doué, they have Barcola, they have players that can break teams down without having to pass, and I watch Nani, and all I see is him tripping over his fucking ankles and like tackling himself. That's it. That's all I see. He is so disappointing, as he's just not good. I'm seeing people saying he's quality and stuff. I just don't think so. So Arsenal fans, not Arsenal, Arsenal really knows how to suck the life out of a freaking transfer window. Goodness me. I just have no, oof. I don't recognize my club. Donkey says this guy is a downgrade from Martinelli. I saw his 200 minutes at Club World Cup and thought, man, I have to have him. Nani is Chelsea cleaning the books. I'm supporting Arsenal women's next season. At least they're getting serious attackers. Nani is a guy that got into the wrong crowd, acting like he's on road, but went private school. Expression said Chelsea and Arsenal go hand in hand like Superman suit. I felt that. We're pathetic, man. You know. Um, you guys are so right. We should let Saka rip his hamstring in half again this season. Y'all are so smart. Can I be honest though? I feel like I understand your point that this is the thing about these conversations is I feel like this is like quintessential gaslighting. Of course, we want a backup for Saka, but we don't want somebody who's not good and for 50 million. Of course, we want a backup. Why not get Kudus? Why not get Bakayoko? Why not get Malik Fofana? Why not get any of those players? That's the thing. It's this whole thing about, oh, so you just want Saka's legs to fall off? No, I don't, but I don't want Noni Madueke. Oh, well, you said you wanted forwards. Yeah, but I don't want a terrible forward. I don't want somebody that no one rates and thinks is ass. I don't want that player at my club. I'm sorry. Like, I don't want him here. I just, So, no, sorry. To me, it's just gaslighting. It's like, of course I want a backup for Saka, but is this the only guy that we could have gotten? No, it's not. And we should stop acting like buying from Chelsea is something that we have to do. Giving them money for their leftovers is something we have to do. It's just nonsense. Like how people are now gaslighting into like, oh, Kai Havertz is this great signing that we needed to get. And if we didn't have him, our whole season would have fallen apart. Well, if we had bought a different player for 65 million, maybe we would have won the league instead of like struggling for the first half of the season because he couldn't play midfield. It's like, stop with the nonsense. Like, I'm not trying to say that like I don't agree that we need more reinforcements, but this is not a certainty. We didn't have to go to Chelsea. We did not have to get their leftovers. We need to stop acting like Chelsea is the only place where we can buy. We've never gotten better with buying a Chelsea cast off. We may have lifted the floor or we may have looked different, but it's never significantly made us better in any way, shape, or form. But you know what it does? It makes them better because they can use our money to reinvest into better players. Tired of it, man. It's horrendous. It's just, oh, man. No Jokeris through the door. Ugh. They better get Eze. There better be a freaking bid in for Eze tomorrow. That's the only thing that can save them. And Jokeris through the door. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's like we haven't signed an attacker. This guy is not good. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Why do they have good relations with Chelsea of all clubs? Oh my days, I still can't believe it. Just is this true? We actually signed him? Yes. We have actually signed Noni Madueke. This club is a joke. Nick says, could it be a homegrown related signing? He doesn't count as homegrown. He doesn't count as homegrown. O'Malley, thank you so much for your super chat. Says, I swear AFC is in a one-way multi-club model with Chelsea. And I'm tired of being Rehab FC. I mean, they can give me all the PR that they want to give me about, oh, this guy, he has a great mentality and you just don't see it because you don't get football and you need to look at the underlyings. I don't want to have to squint. We talked about this earlier with Diluted. I watched the scouting report off of Arsenal Vision that had both Eze and Madueke in it. And you had they were struggling to find like Elliot looked like he was watching a horror film. He was horrified by what he was watching. Clive was trying to do his typical positive spin, which I love him for that. Don't get me wrong. I like that he can see the positive in a player. He could barely find one. And then they flicked to Eze, and it's instant that you can see this player is really good. It is instant. I shouldn't have to. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm tripping. I needed to relax because my head is on Pluto. My head is on Mars. My head is on Mars. I need to stop. I need to remember I am not at home. I'm at home, but I'm in front of you guys and I need to relax. Like, okay. Blake, thank you so much for your super chat. Says, why do we bend over so easy for Chelsea? Like, I generally don't understand. We didn't even try to lowball them over 50 million for Blake's sake. Fuck me. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to get my shit together because now somebody pass me a drink and then Arsenal is going to kill me. Like, oh my goodness. Um, I don't know why we bend over. I don't know why we bend over, man, but we do not have the capacity to go through a single transfer window without giving them our hard-earned cash. Like, I mean, no Jokeris yet. Mascara, we let that go for so long that now he's considering signing a new deal with a release clause. So good job. Good job. You've done a great job there. You let it go so long that they could get in his head and make him believe that he should stay. Good job. Jokeris is waiting there after moving like mountains to come to Arsenal, but we can't come up with the 3 million or whatever it is. But we got that 50 million to give to Chelsea, baby. We got that. We got that 100%. We always got it. We always got it. My head is on Mars. It is on an unidentifiable planet. It is in a different stratosphere. I cannot believe we've done this. It is a here we go. It's a here we go, Keenan. Whew. AZB says, respectfully disagree with popular opinion. Madueke is still raw talent at 23. These are the types of things that we say about Martinelli, but he's not scared to run at defenders fast and has a good cross shot on him. Hopefully he can turn opinions. He better, because he's not going to have any time to settle. They're going to be on his neck. We aren't getting Eze, Rodrigo, and Jokeris. Ain't no funds left. We blew 60 million. Arteta has to go. Think of it this way, guys. At least KSI Noni headband collab will slap. Oh my gosh. I've just been laughing for the last 15 minutes. I mean, if you don't laugh, you will cry. It is Arsenal are the worst team in the transfer window. They have zero capacity to just get attackers through the door that are not attached to Chelsea. It's just ridiculous. And it's not speculative because we've watched him play. He's not good. And there is a here we go. And we're buying him. So what's speculative about that? Do you rate him, Jared? Do you rate him? Tell me. What are the great things? Quickly. What are the good things about Noni Madueke? The real things, like not hypotheticals. Ain't nobody sat there and said, I watched Chelsea today and Noni Madueke was good. I'd like him at Arsenal. Nope. Said I think Cole Palmer's very good, would have him at Arsenal. Caicedo's very good, would have him at Arsenal. Lavia, great player. I've never sat there for 1 second of my life and said, you know what? Noni Madueke would be so good at Arsenal. Not one time. Not one time. Not one time. Let me have this, guys. I need to get this out of my system. Because after today, I'm gonna have to pretend like I want this player, so just let me have it. Diallo says, I can't believe these fools have managed to ruin my vacation. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're on vacation and you're like hearing this. I was really having a great time here in Mauritius. I am bottling that. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Now my head is on Mars. I am fuming. Listen, if you're somebody in the chat that does think that he's a good signing, fair enough. But you have to sympathize with Arsenal fans that do not agree. There's a reason why most of us don't rate him. There's a reason why when we're linked with Eze, everybody is so excited. It's because it's so obvious that this player will make us better. It's not clear that Noni is going to make us better. And after 3 seasons of failing to win anything and getting so close to winning the Premier League, you don't want to be buying players that people have to convince you are good. And that's the problem is you're going to have to convince people, you know? And I get it that, he's probably a nice boy that is looking forward to his new adventure, but my goodness, let me off the ride. Whew. I'm not trying to go on this adventure with them. I'm tired. We did the Havertz gaslight, and it is some of the worst, ridiculous stuff happening at Arsenal where people rate Havertz over our good players and are saying that he saved us and he's such a good player, you just don't get it. And the underlying metrics say he's just as good as Haaland. Do you guys understand how frustrating it is to watch a player nowhere near good enough to play for us being lauded by this fan base? The same thing is going to happen with Noni. Like, I just don't want it. I want players that are just good, That's it. Chris, Eddie Channel, thank you so much for your super chat. I really appreciate it. It says, always sniffing around their surplus to requirements, buying their dead wood. Can you not, I feel like people can sympathize with that. I get that we bought players from top teams and they were underperforming and we were able to make them better. I understand that. I totally understand what our history is. But Noni is just a player that reeks of mistake. We have never bought a player from Chelsea and they regretted it. Not once, ever. They've never regretted selling us a player. Not once. They've rejoiced and they're rejoicing again. It's maybe this time will be different. I don't think it will be. It's not good. This is not a player that we should be getting at this stage after going through last summer and then being so negligent and on the deadline fucking day bringing us Raheem Sterling just for so many of our players to get injured because we couldn't rely on the backups because there either were none or they weren't good enough. This is what you bring us first? It's the first thing through the freaking door? Noni Madueke, and then people are, oh, well, he's not that bad. It's like, I don't want a player that's not that bad. I want a player that's good. Just straight up, that you just look at and you just know is good. I already know the gaslighting is coming. I already know that there are going to be people doing pie charts and all type of shit. And I'm just like, nah, I'm not here for that right now. I need some time. I need some time. I am grieving my football club. This is not the football club that I know. This is not it. Jill, thank you so much for your super chat. I do really appreciate it. Says Chelsea took Fabregas, Cole, Gallas, and Anelka and became godly. We take Luis, Czech, Noni, Havertz, Willian, and Jorginho. We are Chelsea's side piece for life. It just makes me sick. Chelsea is a club that obviously they're rivals and they are a club that I don't like. The only way that this could be worse is if this were Manchester United because I only hate them more. But I mean, they are clowning us so badly. And we never get one over on them because we never win trophies with those players. It's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. But they win trophies with ours. When they take players from us, they win. When we take players from them, we don't. You'd think we just stop doing it. Just stop doing it. Spare us. Chris also says, thank you so much for your super chat. Again, I do really appreciate this, Chris. Says, don't be surprised if that Gyökeres falls through and we end up with Ollie Watkins. I mean, I can't watch Arsenal if Ollie Watkins is leading the line for Arsenal. There's too many Arsenal fans that are propping that up. And it's just Arteta will have whittled us down to the bare bones of nothingness. This is not my club. My club does not have players like Noni and Ollie Watkins. I know we've fallen down over the years, and so we've had some really bad players at the club, but we are meant to be competing now. And so I expect the players to look like players that are going to help us compete. Ollie Watkins and Noni are not players that are going to help you compete at the top level. They better get that Gyökeres deal done and that Eze deal done, or heads are going to be on Pluto. They're already on Pluto. My dogs are looking at me like I've lost my mind. I've scared them to death. Make sure you guys are liking the video and subscribing to the channel. He better take number 99. They better not give him no special number. Could you imagine Noni Madueke? What is it? NM14? Oh, give me a break. I haven't watched a single comp or a clip of this guy that looked like a player that we should be going after. We're going to be in the same, should we play Martinelli or Noni? Yeah, well, it's pretty much the same shit. Yeah, it's going to be the same thing that we have right now with Trossard and Martinelli, where it's like, whoever's less shit today, it's just. O'Malley, thank you so much for your super chat. I do really appreciate it. O'Malley says, what's crazy is he'll be on holiday for 3 weeks after the club broke up. It literally makes no sense from multiple angles. The friend who keeps going back after dirtbags and wonders why they're not married. Yeah, what was the rush to get this done? I don't get it. The rush to get this done as if, disgusting. Ugh. I don't get why they were rushing. He cannot touch 14 or 10. Those need to be reserved for players that are actually going to take us to the next level. It's just disgusting. This club is just so backwards. I just don't get it. First attacker through the door when you're desperate for attackers is somebody that does not make you better. And people still believe this guy is just coming in to play right wing. He better. First game pops up on that left wing, it's going to get ugly. It's gonna get freaking ugly. Now the Ornstein bomb it's just ugly. Arsenal close to full agreement with Chelsea for Noni Madueke. Clubs nearing compromise for 23-year-old winger in a £52 million deal. What compromise? What compromise have we come to? Are you joking? What compromise have we come to? We've bent over. The freaking nerve of it all to say that we came to a compromise. What was a compromise? Not 60? Arsenal are a joke. The only compromise that we could have come to is paying basically nothing up front so that we can go get actual players that we need. This is a nothing signing. It's a zero. It's a zero. Like, he's just a body, He's not, it's just nonsense. Noni said Chelsea is the biggest club in London in a quote. Well, whatever, man. I need someone to explain this to me, how Noni is a good signing. I've watched football for a long time now, and I don't see how this is a good signing. This means that Rodrigo is now impossible. I sense a toxic season incoming. Mikel and these players aren't ready for it. Here we go again. Well, to me, at the end of the day, we deserve what we deserve, and you just needed to buy 2 or 3 top quality attackers, and you just cannot do it with Mikel has no clue how to bring in attackers. He's only bought 1 or 2 in Trossard and Gabriel Jesus. Both of those are surplus to requirements 2 years after we bought them. We bought both Jesus and Trossard during the same season. Basically, we bought Jesus in the summer and we bought Trossard in the January of 2022/2023. No, yeah, 2022/2023. It's 2025 and they're both surplus to requirements now. We need to get rid. What? Like, he wanted Vlahovic. The guy's getting his contract canceled at Juventus. What the fuck? My head is on Mars. My head is on Mars because I just know this is just it's going to ruin us. It's the biggest joke. We're always a joke. We're always the butt end. And he is the first game that he plays in preseason, they're going to have the fail comps ready. Um, let's see. You lot need to understand that Arteta is not an elite manager. When you get that, it will make sense. Arteta has wasted a lot of money on BS signings. I can't believe it. Madueke is not proving shit in Arsenal. No Chelsea rejected. Noni is no Messi or Robin. Something ain't right. Chelsea and Ars cooking the books behind the scenes like Juve and Barca. So Nani elevates this team and Jokeris isn't worth the money. I honestly hate being negative about this club, but I just feel like I've always been right about this manager. Get him out of my club. Another super chat in from African Soldier. I do really appreciate it. This is so sweet and so kind, and I do really appreciate it. I know these are difficult times, and I'm kind of raging right now, and I feel some shame, but I got to keep it real with you guys. I really do. At this point, Arteta is not beating the allegations of being a dictator. He only buys players he can control. Not Noni is not my player. Arteta out. I mean, he doesn't like to buy good players that just instantly make you better right away. That's for sure. Because like, there's just plenty of players you could have bought, and you have to get a player that is just smelly. It stinks of Chelsea and stinks of not good enough. I know that he is kind of a starter for Chelsea, but we wouldn't take very many of their players outside of the players that are behind the attack. We're not taking Nico Jackson. We're not taking, you see Neto now, probably wouldn't take him. You're definitely not taking Nani. Like, I've never seen a manager so obsessed with players that are not good. When did Arsenal buy Sterling? Was Kai a bad player last season? When did Arsenal buy Sterling? Was Kai a bad player last season? Kai is not a bad player, but he's not made us any better. And no matter how much, how much narrative driven nonsense is out there, it's just the case that he hasn't made us any better. And because he's not as bad as he was when he first got here, people have decided that he's good. He's just average. He's an incredibly average player. He's not good enough to play the position that he was brought in to play, being replaced by another striker now. I'm sorry, but this whole thing about Havertz was good for us. We've accepted, I hate to do this, but we've accepted mediocrity so much that as long as he's not unable to trap a ball and he's serviceable, people are saying that he's good, and he's just serviceable. We have a couple of players in this team, especially up front, that just about serve their purpose. And because we've our mentality is so on the floor when it comes to attackers, we just accept it. Not scratching 20 goals a season, not able to score any goals against, when we're in really difficult times in Champions League, not really scoring goals then, not able to score against Aston Villa when we need him to in the run-in. Like, this guy has really morphed the way that Arsenal fans think. And that's what gives Arteta the confidence to go out there and bring Nani. It's ridiculous. Laughing at all you Arteta sexuals finally waking up. Thank you so much for your super chat. I really appreciate it. The fan base tonight is 95% Arteta out. Even a gal and Ty didn't want Nani. I mean, he set himself up for failure. He's brought in a player that, Klopp has said it before, that sometimes you buy players for the fans to get the fans excited. Arsenal have no regard for the fans. Not only do they buy players that are not for us and don't get us excited, but they're also not good, so it's a double whammy. They're players that come from rivals. They're not good enough. It's just their sideways moves. It's just ridiculous. It's sometimes you do buy players for the fans to get them excited. The complete opposite to this is Eze. They need to get him in the door. If you bought Noni, but you fail to bring in Eze when you have a free run at him and he's begging to come, you're done. Like, you're absolutely done. Feels like Arsenal is hellbent on making fans miserable. They do. Marty says you are bitching because of the timing. If Victor had arrived in Eze and Rodrigo, you wouldn't be bitching. I'd still be bitching because he's still not good. At the end of the day, it would make it better if we got the better signings through the door earlier, but he's still not good, and that's a big part of it as well. It's not just, it's nobody can give me a solid, like they can say he's not that bad, but when you say he's not that bad, you're actually saying that he's bad, just not as bad as the worst player you've ever seen. So, and there's no guarantee we're getting these players, Marty. There's no guarantee we're getting all of these players. We're not getting Rodrigo. I don't think we're getting him. Maybe we'll get Victor over the line and Eze, but in the end of the day, he's just not a good player. And you could have gotten anyone else in the world. It's just crazy to me. You guys don't even think he's good. So I don't even know why you're defending it. It's so strange that you're defending a player that I know you don't even think he's good. You don't like him. You don't think he's good. Come on. Why are you backing a player you don't even think is good? It's weird. It's weird. It's like you just want to protect the club, or there's sometimes they make bad signings. Sometimes they get it right. Sometimes they get it so wrong. Today, it feels like they've gotten it so wrong. Weird. It's just weird. You don't think he's good. You're just mad that people are mad about it. Why are you mad that people are mad about a player you don't even rate? Doesn't make sense. Please sign Gyökeres plus Rodrigo or Eze. I don't want to go into next season pissed. Another trophyless season incoming. He's definitely not better than Pepe. This is bullshit. He's not as bad as Havertz, not even close in my opinion. Well, that's the funny thing is I actually agree he's not as bad as Havertz, but he's getting way more hate than Havertz ever did, and I find that to be a little bit like, that being said, just because you're not as bad as Havertz doesn't mean you're not bad. Arteta has won nothing after the FA Cup, so who does he think he is? 50 million plus for what? Can someone answer the question? No, but it's fine. Like he's just you just need to see him first. You just don't get it. Underlying metrics, it's we penny pinch for mains, but pay for mediocre for fuck's sake. They don't have a clue, and they're very much so like very detached from the fans. They're probably sitting there, why are they upset? You guys said, and you guys said that you wanted attackers and we brought them. Not these attackers, you dummy. Want good attackers. Like you kept the powder dry. What'd you keep the powder dry for? For Noni? You could have got Malik Fofana. You could have gotten Bakayoko. You could have got Elanga. You could have got so many other players that Arsenal fans could have got behind. This is not a player we're getting behind. CTX says we're holding out 5 million for Victor Gyökeres, but have 50 million for this. Never seen a club so detached from reality. So detached from reality and what the player, like what we need and what we should be going for. And they wonder why they're always, fine margins. If we just had, if you didn't get Noni and you just bought good players, maybe you'll win something. Stark, sickening. If he gets the number 14, I just feel like I need to just be done. This club is going to kill me. We're such a laughing stock. Like, it's just so annoying. I don't want the abuse on him. I'm not going to go into his DMs. I don't think that that's the right way to go about it. And actually, I don't even like the hashtag. I think it's terrible. But yeah, I don't think I don't think that this is right. This player is not good, The biggest issue is that we're buying players that are not confident and ready for the pressure. Osman is exactly correct. I've spoken about this many, many times. It's the mentality shift that needs to happen for Arsenal is just as big as the talent shift. We need more talent, but we actually need better mentalities. And every time you bring in a player that needs therapy and, there are are mentally drained from playing at another club that didn't want them, you have to spend the whole first half of the season rehabilitating a player that's only going to get to a serviceable level. It's not even like you're rehabbing Thierry Henry. You're rehabbing Kai Havertz and Noni Madueke. There is a ceiling to how good they will be. So why would you go, like, you just want players that are going to hit the ground running, which is a big reason why we need to get Eze and Gyökeres, two players that aren't, devastated or, mentally, emotionally damaged from the club or anything like that. They've just won titles and trophies where they're at, and they're ready to take the next step. Those are the players we should be putting our time and effort and coin into, not players that you need to fix up. We don't need another fix-it job. Crazy. Kstass, Kstacasss says, it's the priorities for me. 14 better be retired for fuck's sake. If he even touches it, I'm just, I don't know what I'm going to do because there's nothing I can really do, but I'm going to do something, punch my wall or something, Woo! Lord. Like, this is just disgusting. Other clubs regularly spend this money on depth, by the way. This is just new for us. All we can do is wait and see in this case. And I'm like, how do you know it's depth and he's not a starter and he's not good? You could have spent 50 million on a player that we rate. Only Arteta rates this guy. Nobody else rates this guy. Nobody else was beating down their door to get him. We're the only club that really wanted him. Come on. It's like, I get that we need to spend money on depth, and other teams have been doing it, but they haven't been buying Noni Madueke. They haven't. Spurs didn't want him. They went and got Kudus. Newcastle got Alanga instead. What the fuck are we doing? People are trying to justify it already. It's disgusting. Marco says, dude, look at me in the eyes through the camera and said the club wanted to connect with the fans. I feel betrayed. Bruh, they don't care about the fans. No club that cares about the fans buys a Kai Havertz and then turns around and also buys Noni Madueke. This player just reeks. He gonna be begging us. Arteta's gonna be begging us for, he needs tender love and care. He needs love and hugs and shit. And I ain't giving no hugs out. No hugs. None. No hugs, no nothing. You're not getting nothing from me. Nothing. Disgusting. Air Ace says, we just signed Kudus, next Eze. If this is a Tottenham fan, he already rejected you, which is why you're getting Morgan Gibbs-White. He said he only wants Arsenal, so I guess not. Madueke is a baller. We love him. I don't know who this is, but you're trolling. Johnny says, Osman is right. Madueke is no proof he has the right mentality for winning the best honors. 50 million for Madueke is a middle finger to Sporting. I mean, it's arrogant, by the way, to be sitting there acting like you can't spend on Gyökeres when you're putting 50 million in for Madueke. We're going to lose that deal and spend 60 million on Ollie Watkins if we keep fucking around. 52, get it right. Disgusting. Every year, it's the same thing. So sick of this club. So sick of this club. Now we have to rehabilitate another player and treat him like a Make-A-Wish kid, to get anything out of him for him to be average. Sickening. I'm be okay if I'm wrong on this, then fair enough, but this signing gives average at best. Bernard says, I'm not inspired at all. Hard to be pumped for the season. Arteta under so much pressure this year. He won't survive it. All the other teams are improving. They're buying loads of players. We're all in the Champions League, so it's going to even things out, except for Man United are the only ones that are not. Everybody's spending. Everybody's getting better. This is the season. We're This is it. This is going to be the one. YouTubers crashing out is boosting the fans to abuse the player. No, it's not. I'm not responsible for what they do. I've said multiple times, I've done about 3 Noni streams in the last 24 hours. And on every single stream, I've said that the abuse, actually, I've done 4. No, I've done 5 actually. So I've done 5 streams, and I've said on every single one of those streams, multiple times, by the way, that I don't agree with the abuse. I think the hashtag is disgusting. I also said it on my Twitter that I don't think it's right. So Concrete Jungle, respectfully, do not blame me and make me responsible for grown people being stupid. That's not on me. I have every right to not want this signing. Every right not to want this signing. And you trying to put that on me is disgraceful when I've said multiple times on multiple streams, 5 to be exact, that I do not like the abuse and I think it's wrong. So I hope you take that in for real, because the thing that grinds my gears the most is Arsenal fans abusing content creators for being honest about how they feel about things and not covering up for the club and trying to play nice, blaming us for the downfall of the club, when in reality, the only people that are taking this club into the gutter is Mikel Arteta and the Cronkies. Every time we lose a game, somebody is saying, oh, AFTV at fault because they grow the toxicity. There wouldn't be toxicity if we weren't not winning. Like, I don't get it. You can't blame me for that. You can't blame me for that. I'm not encouraging anybody to go into Nani's DMs and talk shit to him. Nah, bro, I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that. The fuck? Like, be so serious right now. He's getting sacked this season for sure. You could be wrong, like nearly all the people here, but sadly, chances are you're right. I give Madueke a 30% chance of making it here. That's optimistic. We've signed 7 forwards under Arteta, including Havertz, who was for midfield, and 4 of them have been Chelsea players: Willian, Sterling, Havertz, and Madueke, if he completes the move, which is why not really blaming Berta for this, because there is a longer history with this Chelsea obsession that predates him. This is an Arteta thing. Woodsy says, stop crying. I can't understand how negative you are. Well, leave, you know? If you don't like it, you don't have to watch. I'm really not trying to hear all this shit. He's not a good player. No one rates him. We're overspending on somebody who's probably too expensive for a backup, not good enough to start. I don't know why you're not understanding the negativity. This whole, why is everybody so negative about getting a shit player? Like, come on. I don't get it. The problem is, Jess, you aren't wrong, and you won't put your hands up at the end saying I was wrong. Yeah, I mean, if he ends up banging, I'll be excited about that because I want our players to do well, and after today, he will be an Arsenal player. So this is kind of like my last chance of crashing out like this and having like real emotions, because I'm going to have to pretend from here on out that I don't think this signing is an abomination. So if you don't like it, go. Like, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, it's just so annoying. It's like, why are you upset about signing Noni Madueke? Like, almost the entire fan base is against this signing, and you guys are acting like it's okay. Like, it's just not okay. And to even suggest to blame me for people abusing Noni Madueke when I've said so many times that I don't agree with it is, I think, manipulative, to be honest. To me, it's manipulative. It's, you want me to stop being negative, so you're trying to blame me for something when I'm not in control of y'all. If you go and you abuse him, you are at fault, period, not me. It's up to him to prove us wrong, and he has shown to have a bad attitude. No Glock 9 and Eze, and we get Noni. He is not good, especially when there are better options for that price. Thank you. At the end of the day, he made his bed, and he better get comfy. Arteta doesn't care about Arsenal. I don't know what he cares about, but it's not about our mental health. That's for sure. He wants to make sure that we are all mentally unstable at the end of his tenure. It's stop doing this. Because there's other players you could go get. and of course we could still bring in Jokeris and Eze, but if we don't, it is going to get ugly. Ugly. I just hope for a major signing out of left field, and this is not a major signing. That's another thing, is buying your rivals leftovers that they don't want is not a major signing. It's not a major signing. This is just a signing that we've made that just adds a body. This is like having Sterling. This is ridiculous. Why should I support him? He's Arteta's problem. Let's support him. Let him support him. Kepa, Zubamendi, Norgard, and Madueke totals 124 million without a striker, attacking mid, left wing, and center back, and any sales. We haven't even really gotten to what we need to get to yet. We need to get Eze and Jokeris through the door, and nothing is happening with Mascara, and that sounds like it's turning negatively at this point too. So yeah, but I'm meant to be excited. Reese is right there, max 70 million left. I'll support Madueke if he bangs in a screamer every match. Listen, everyone, the club don't care about our voices. Spend your money on your family and switch off from the club's nonsense. I hope Saliba, Saka, and all of those on the cusp of contracts don't sign. Don't ruin your career with this joke club. You young fans are embarrassing our club. Get out. I mean, I'm not asking you to be here. I couldn't care less if you follow me or not. If you're embarrassed by how I'm speaking about things, then get out the channel. Nobody's begging you to be here. I don't need Nigel Lewin to co-sign my feelings. Go, and I'm keeping it cute because I don't want to talk to you crazy, but you can go, Nigel. You're not needed here. It's fine. So weird. You young fans are the problem with the club. Like, no, the problem with the club is the reason why we're not winning is not because I'm saying that this is shit signing, talk to your manager. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But this happens every single time. We sign a player that we know is not good enough. And then as soon as people complain, people come and say, you're embarrassing. You're the reason why people are abusing the players. No. Not so much. Let's see. There is clearly collusion happening between Arsenal and Chelsea. It's clear to see that they chose to do this over obviously more positive deals. It's not a conspiracy. People need to start paying attention. Why is Arteta so stubborn? This is so freaking embarrassing. Supporting this club is a whole other job. Did anyone go into the window wanting him? Nope. And even if you go into a window, and because we didn't know going into this window we were going to be linked to Noni Madueke, so I don't want to be disingenuous and say that, well, if you didn't want him before the window opened, then if you don't want him when the window opens, then you can't want the player now. But we don't want the player now. It's not even about us not being linked to him at the beginning. We don't want the player. Let's see, if it's not collusion, it's blackmail, because why are we always the one at the short end of the stick? London, blue, red. The way Mikel has treated Ethan is horrible. I think he'll just play his natural position, if I'm honest. I know some people think that this is a good signing. I don't see it. Goodness, I don't see it. He's just not a good player. I mean, Chelsea fans are rejoicing and we're crashing out. I think that says quite a bit. It should be the opposite way. People are saying Jokeris updates. I don't see it. I don't see any Jokeris update. That needs to get done tomorrow. And he's going to go on vacation, so he'll be gone for a couple of weeks. Like, it's just that. Let's see. It's okay. It's an okay signing. He ain't the only one coming in, so we'll have other options. Stop panicking. You don't know that. You don't know that until we know that they're bringing in Eze and someone else. Then, as far as I'm concerned, they don't get benefit of the doubt from me. They used up their benefit of the doubt last summer when they chased Sesko and Nico Williams after saying they were going to look at Isak and Olise and then came up with Raheem Sterling. No benefit of the doubt with them. As far right now, we have one attacker in, and that attacker is somebody that not a single one of them us truly wants or can rate at all. I haven't seen not a single person advocate for this guy being any good. So, yeah, until they bring those players in, they don't get benefit of the doubt for me because they got benefit of the doubt last summer and they tore their draws. Like, it's horrible. Big Smoke says, forget about Eze and Rodrigo. Noni is our left wing. I'm not crashing out yet. I'm waiting to see what happens for the rest of the window. This meltdown is frankly so embarrassing. Listen, at the end of the day, not everybody is going to rate the signing. I don't rate the signing. We haven't won anything in so many years. We're giving Chelsea more money for a player that they don't want. The majority of the fan base does not want him. At some stage, there needs to be like an acceptance from the other side, the positive side, that this just may not be the best signing. And people are frustrated, so it's just, it is what it is. If you guys like the signing and you feel like any signing that comes in is probably fine, nobody's even saying it's good. They're saying it's okay. We shouldn't be making okay signings right now. We shouldn't be making okay signings, not an attack. Like, the levels are just so dropped down to the floor, but it's okay, Jessica. It's an okay signing. What are you upset by? Why are we getting okay signings? What's embarrassing isn't the meltdown. It's the fact that we got a bad player. No money is being sent to Chelsea. The worst part is after all of this, Noni will still be an Arsenal player. I understand the meltdown, especially after last season where Tottenham played worse than Arsenal and won the Europa League. It's funny now we signed the worst ones. We've signed worse attack. We've signed a worse attacker than Spurs has. They signed Morgan Gibbs-White and Kudus, and we're signing Noni Madueke. And, I'm supposed to be happy about that. Look at his FB ref stats. He's a good player. He plays for England. Conor Gallagher played for England, so they gave Eddie Nketiah a cap, didn't they? They let him play. So listen, FB ref stats, he plays for England. These are all the kind of like excuses and things that people come up with to try to convince people that a player that we all know isn't that good is good. Like, we don't have to pretend right now. He's just not that great of a player. He's average at best. I've looked at his FB ref before. Like, I implore you guys to watch the Arsenal Vision scouting report where they show you every clip, not just what they show on the comps, but every clip, every touch this young man has taken. And this is what I did after we got off of our phone-in show. And like, I kid you not, there was like maybe 2 or 3 clean actions in there. Most of the actions were him running into crowd scenes, overrunning his touches, being really selfish with the ball, not getting past his man, taking terrible shots, not really that great of crosses. He's going to need a lot of work to be a decent signing, So what am I even looking at here? He's in the 99th percentile for progressive carries. Successful take-ons, he's in the 76th percentile, but his touches in the attacking penalty area and progressive passes received are high. But it's like, okay, so you're in good attacking areas, but what do you do with it? What do you do with the ball? So he's not like he's getting a lot of GA. He's just an even average to poor player. You can't convince me otherwise unless Arteta does a complete makeover, and his makeovers up until this point have not been that great, so, but you guys like it, you like this player, fair freaking enough. We haven't signed a single Chelsea player that's made us better, or I think we felt like, yeah, that was a good idea. If I could send Kai back today, I would. I just don't think that he's made us any different, and Noni won't either. This is a disaster. Arteta is shit at attacking players for real. Just get good attackers that aren't from Chelsea and go from there. Try that for once. We signed a downgraded version of Martinelli for 50 million. Why wouldn't we crash out? WYRM Food, thank you so much for your super chat. Says, what Chelsea player will Arsenal buy next year? My bets are on Nico Williams as Gyökeres understudy. I mean, well, Nico Williams doesn't play for them, but we'll probably buy freaking what's that child's name? The one Mudryk, because we wanted him before and we couldn't get him, and we'll wait until he's just totally terrible to go get him. Excuse me. It's just I need to have my crash out so that I can move on, because he's going to be an Arsenal player, but I don't have the hopium right now or the copium because we don't have any other attackers in, and I don't rate the guy. It's just so bad. Now people are saying, well, see, it's like all you clowns that are abusing him, etc. I don't want you celebrating a single goal. Abusing him is wrong. But if you don't like the signing, you have every right not to like the signing. I just, at this stage, it's just there's a reason why the reaction is what it is. He's objectively a terrible footballer. Even his comp stink. Mudryk's still on doping ban, so we'll probably get him in January if Arteta's still here. Martinelli is way better, bro. I think he meant Nico Jackson. Okay, Nico Jackson, that makes sense. He almost bought Mount too. Remember that? So we went from City rejects to Chelsea rejects FC. Oh no, we won't be able to celebrate the 2 goals he scores. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh, I won't be able to celebrate the goals. He's not going to score that many goals. Like, it's just wild. If we're signing Madueke at the expense of either Rodrigo, Gyökeres, or Eze, and then we fail to win silverware next season, Arteta has to go. Pretty much. 2 signings tomorrow, or I'm watching La Liga from now on. Martinelli is actually better than Noni. That's the funny thing. Martinelli is good on the counter. He can't beat defenders. Fans need to protest the way that Juve fans protested against signing Lukaku. I stand with Arsenal, not Arteta. If Arteta fails this coming season, bring Fabregas. What goals he'll score. Pity penalty. Madueke is good at counting beans. Mate, I would sack Arteta just for the signing. Fine margins will be the first words uttered from this clown when we exit every cup competition and drop crucial points. It would be different. Like, I can see the positive in almost every single signing. I can watch comps of them and watch the scouting reports and see what we're trying to accomplish. I just don't see it with him at all. And I'm just trying to be honest about that. I'm not somebody that gets mad about every single signing that we make and thinks that every signing that we've made is bad. I think we've made so many good signings, but in attack, we just haven't made enough. And if you keep signing these types of players, we will never move forward. We just won't. You can't keep buying these types of players. It doesn't work, And the thing is you buy a player like this and the expectation is that they're really, really bad. And then again, when Arteta makes them serviceable, puts them in our system and then, coaches him to make the right decisions here, there, and then he's a little bit better, then people will be saying, see, I told you so. Arteta saved us. He's a great player. And we'll still be missing out on titles and stuff, and they won't understand why. It's because we don't need serviceable players. We don't need okay players. We need excellent players. We need great players. He is so below Saka. It's insane. What happened to Berta? Does multiple deals at a time. Where are the other options? The key is to hold Arteta accountable if Madueke flops. He is signed, and we need to get behind the player at this point. Sign good players, you play good football. Sign crap players, you play crap football. It's not rocket science. That's how football works. You can't change fundamental logic. What's next, Rashford? While I'm extremely excited if we sign Smith, do you think the fee may hinder other potential transfers? I still feel like we need to invest in midfield. Possibly, but I don't think that they said that they wanted to bring in a midfielder. I think they said this the attacker and backup fullback. We could actually be done in the market. I think we're supposed to be getting a backup goalkeeper, getting rid of Zinsberger. So I don't think we're going to get a midfielder. I think they're okay with their options. We have Walty, we have Little, Palova's coming back, Monum, Mariona, you know, Kafaji. We have quite a few options in there that I think that they're really comfortable with. Kyra Cooney Cross, so I think this might be kind of it unless we're able to bring in that goalkeeper. We crash out of any cup, Arteta out. We have become a feeder for Chelsea, top four rivals, selling a good player. Think, who would you rather have had as a Saka backup? I would have rather had Bakayoko or Malik Fofana from Lyon. I would have taken either one of those players. I would have taken Akliouche from Monaco. There's plenty of players out there in the ether that we could have went for. So before we do that, who else is there? There are other players. We just chose not to get them. Well, this is Arteta's last chance and we know it. So he gets to go out his way, I guess. Havertz will get booted next summer either way, I think, which is the right thing. We should be trying to move away from him. Here to there says 50 million should equal a solid player. Madueke is not. Alex Baena, Reinders, the list goes on. This is terrible. They are trying to convince me that this was not a poor signing or misuse of funds, but you know, mm, Stark. I wonder a penny for our players' thoughts. I'm sure that they don't think that he's a terrible player, but talking about goosebumps and unprecedented, and this is the player that comes in, it's just dark. You know, for backup, Saka spent 50 million, crazy. Krava went for what, 60 million M's. Like, this is like value, like 60 million for Kvaratskhelia, like 60 million for Marmoush. 50 something million for Reinders. Like, this is value in the market, and we're overspending, on a player that is too expensive probably for a backup, but not good enough to start, so it just doesn't feel like the right signing, but oh well, you know. Johnny says, yes, Jess, I wonder what Saliba is thinking. I'm definitely signing the extension now. Mbappe, who? Fair enough. Seriously, what is Saliba thinking? What is Ethan thinking? It's crazy. We could have spent another 20 million to get Krava. Next week we'll be signing Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank as striker, former Chelsea player. It's just the jokes are just there, and it's like at some point, Arsenal, you need to look at it, and it's just the perspective on it, the optics of it for a club that's constantly murdered online for being so heavily invested in PR. You're not very good at your job. You should know what the reaction to a signing like this would be and steer away from it as much as possible, because you're going to be listening to an empty that Leeds game, that first game of the season. If you didn't get Eze and you didn't get Gyökeres, that stadium is going to be quiet. It's going to be quiet. It's going to be quiet, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I don't, you know? Um, and that's the thing. It's like people are saying, I'll accept the Noni signing from tomorrow, but for now, let me crash out. And I'm like, thank you. Like, can you just allow us to have a moment where we're not happy? I get so tired of Arsenal fans trying to force you to be happy or force you to accept things. Give us a minute to be disappointed about a disappointing signing for once. Like, couldn't be mad about Havertz, can't be mad about Kepa, can't be mad about the backup goalkeeper that was cup tied. Couldn't be mad about Sterling. Couldn't be mad the whole summer last summer, because you just have to wait because you don't understand how football works for us to not get shit. And now you guys are telling us to be okay with the Nani signing. Give us a minute, just give us 1 minute, man. And if you don't want to be a part of it, just come back when we've calmed down, because after today, he's an Arsenal player. I'm not going to be bitching like this anymore, because I'll have to just deal with it. But my goodness, it's fresh. And you guys are, what are you mad about? What are you mad about? Stop gaslighting for 1 second and just be normal. It's not a normal signing. It's just not the type of signing that people are going to be excited about. Like, are you good? It's just crazy. I've never seen anything like it. But this is why Arsenal, Arteta will always get away with these things because there's always going to be somebody that justifies it. There's quite literally always somebody that's going to defend it every single time. Always somebody that's going to be like, "What do you mean? Of course we need Madueke." Madueke is now AFC. I will support him to do well 100%. I'm also not gonna lie either. If he doesn't play well, I'm not gonna pretend like he is. I'll give him definitely a chance, and I'm not gonna abuse him or anything like that because I would never encourage that despite people pretending like that's what I'm doing. But, I'm also not gonna lie and say that he's playing well if he's not. You know, we'll know if he's playing well or not. I'm not accepting this shit deal today, tomorrow, or in a year. Uh, what are you complaining about? Being one of the best teams in the world? Um, Whatever, man. We haven't won anything. The best team in the world with no trophies in the last 5 seasons is rich, you know. Be pissed at Arteta and the board. Nani actually agreed to come to be a backup on low wages, so I have to say he might actually end up being a solid signing. We just overpaid by 25 million. He better be a backup, Keenan. That's all I'm saying is I don't trust Arsenal not to bottle this and just say, well, you know, pull the rug out tomorrow with Ornstein saying, well, actually, Nani was one of the options and they went with that and that's what they're going with. You know, it's still unclear what position he's going to be playing because as soon as they were saying that we're going to put in a bid, all of a sudden it changed to, well, he's going to play on the left, you know, and it's like, what? Goodness me. What are you doing down there? He said, we were just watching Love Island and now you're raging. I know, I was supposed to be enjoying it. Man. Excuse me, Benzema, can you stop? I just implore the gaslighters, imagine our rivals. Let's see. Our rivals did what we just did. So what does this mean for the Eze deal? Can we still get him? Of course we can still get him. Will they? I don't know. Something about this fan base is, or not this fan base, this club is very like, well, it's fine. You know, we don't need more. We're good with what we got. Yeah, agreed. At this point, it's not even my lack of faith in Arteta winning anything because he is a good coach, to be fair, but it's the gaslighting about clearly meaty signings that really pisses me off. You know, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, we don't have to pretend like this guy is really good. We don't. You know, nobody rates this guy. You know, we're squinting now. Is he good enough? Like, no. I want a player that's obviously good. Nobody understands the signing, by the way. Even outside people, outside of Arsenal, like not just our rivals, but almost everybody is very confused by this. Like, we make so many signings that are incredibly confusing that don't make sense to anyone, not inside like Arsenal fans or outside. And I'm like, I feel like that's a sign that we never make the signing that makes sense. We always make the signing that's incredibly confusing. Fabrizio Mano says more on the Noni Madueke exclusive story. Understand Arsenal and Chelsea will exchange all documents on Friday. The transfer fee agreed is 52 million package. Arteta said yes to Madueke as a key target already weeks ago. Disgusting. Well, Arteta, it's your career on the line. You know, your career on the line, buddy. If you want to put your career on the line for a player that is not good, you know, that tackles himself when he's trying to get around his man and shoots into, you know, into crowd scenes, and fair enough. Prem proven and a good backup to Saka, expensive, but let's move on. Key target. He better be a backup. You know, that left wing article, that memo is exactly what I'm talking about. At this point, our spend is looking like 400 million if we still get the other targets, which if you know Arsenal, we're not going to spend that amount. We have already spent 110 million on Zubi Madueke. No way we get both Gyökeres and Eze without a major sale. The only thing I can think of here to there is we went with Nani because we wouldn't have to spend as much up front, and it allows us to get the other players in. But I'm telling you right now that if they come out with some nonsense about Ollie Watkins or Not getting Eze, I'm done. Like, there's just I cannot do it anymore. I cannot start the season with maybe Gyökeres, Nani, or Martinelli and Saka. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's just nonsense. Zuby is not going to be able to change the fact that these players can't put the ball in the back of the net, that no defenses are scared of these players. Defenses are not scared of us. They're not. Do you think they're going to be scared of Nani? Bruh. Disgusting. It's money laundering. Eze and Jim not coming anymore. I mean, at least one of them is coming, hopefully. Nani looked okay when he played, but such a cluttered, bloated team at Stamford Bridge. I don't want players that play okay. Does Gyökeres and Eze save the transfer window for you? Kind of, because as far as I'm concerned, we still haven't signed an attacker. So we still need to sign 2 really good top quality attackers. That's not what this is. So yeah, if you buy Eze and Gyökeres, you just about saved yourself. I don't count this as a signing. Like, it's just a project. Arsenal are willing to let Leandro Trossard leave after he agreed personal terms with Fenerbahce. The Turkish side have offered the Belgian a 3-year deal, but have not agreed a transfer fee. Arsenal are likely wanting £20 million. That's coming from Times Sport and Gary Jacobs, so that's a very good source. Nani in, Trossard out. Does that feel like a fair trade to you? Sick to my back teeth of this nonsense. I don't think there's another team that qualified for Champions League that signed a worse attacker. I don't. Because I don't think Alanga is as bad as Madueke. Just got here. Has this been a bigger crush out than the Georgie one? Yep, it has, Matas. It has been. I didn't think it could get worse than the Georgie one, but it's worse. I'll probably regret some of the things that I said today, but right now I'm just devastated. Devastated. Cal Gunner says this signing proves Arteta isn't leaving, by the way. He's just so safe. Only a safe manager would make stupid signings like this. I just want to be excited for the season, man. Give me something. Arteta buys mid players so he can get glory for himself. I mean, Trossard, I thought Trossard would leave for Eze, so is it like, I don't know. This Eze needs to come in. That's all I'm saying. I don't have much else to say, but you need to get Eze in. Eze is the opposite of this in every way, shape, and form. He's an obvious player that's good. He makes you better. He's a feel-good player. He feels like an Arsenal player. The antithesis of what Noni is, you must bring in a good player tomorrow. Turn this around, Arsenal. So sick of you right now. Like, I'm tired of every transfer window looking at us like, what are we doing? Like every window, it's what's going on here? Ugh. Sick. Declan Rice liked it too. Like, Declan Rice likes any signing. He's a toxic positive. He likes any signing. He doesn't care. Arteta will use no striker as an excuse for no trophies. Fabrizio confirmed Arteta wanted Madueke, Arteta out. No, but double S, he doesn't make the signings. They hold his hands behind his back and give him signings that he doesn't want. Didn't you know that? Like, he never signs his own players. Olawadek. Madueke was in the background of that video. Maybe it was foreshadowing. He was literally convincing him to come during that video. Declan, you agent. I really don't want that Mandem FC energy at our club. Just bring me Eze and Jokeris and don't speak to me ever again, Arsenal. You've done so much damage. Eze is lifting the spirits of every fan, plus he's an actual Arsenal boy. Please, I mean, we've just signed a Tottenham Academy graduate, by the way. I'm telling you, Eze is the antithesis of Noni. Arsenal Hale End boy, Spurs Academy, played for Chelsea, didn't play for Chelsea. Good player that obviously makes us better. Bad player that doesn't make us any better. Like, he's just the antithesis of everything that Nani is. They must bring him in to even this out. If they want to get into the positive again, they need to buy Eze and buy Jokeris and cut the shit. You know? Just do it. You know? Getting rid of Trossi. I expect Eze to come in for Trossi because that's like for like replacements. Whew. Lord. I love how we're all about attitude and intelligence before this. But when it comes to Nani, we throw it all out of the window, you know. Like, go get Eze, please. Donkey says Arteta been sniffing glue with this signing. Another window with no left winger. Christ almighty, Eze is not a left winger. He is an attacking mid that can do a job at left wing. I have to watch Martinelli again next season. They're okay with it. Hurts to see Kudus went for 55 million. Please, Gunners, sign Jokeris, please. The Real Fortune says, wow, people need to chill on this. Quit moaning. Leave. I mean, just give us one day for one time not to be excited about a signing that's clearly not a good one. You know, it's at this point, it's just, there just needs to be a time where people can be dissatisfied with what we're doing. We're never allowed to be dissatisfied. We always have to be excited and try to find the positive. I don't want to find the positive of this until tomorrow. Jesus, my goodness, it's just so annoying. If you don't like it, go. There are plenty of positive channels that no matter what happens, they're up the butt of whatever transfer we got. They can find a positive. They'll tell you that you're stupid if you don't understand the signing. They'll say, why are you guys moaning? There's plenty of channels like that. This is not one of them. I'm going to crash out if I don't like the signing. This is an obvious bad signing. Like, I don't know what to tell you. This is because you already did Kai Havertz. So this is repeating the same thing over again. You know, it's ridiculous. Thanks for going live. I needed a good crash out. Sometimes you just need to crash out and just feel how you're feeling and not have to, because from here on out, we will be copium and hopium until the end of time with this guy for the next 5 years. So can we not have a freaking minute? Damn. Zachary says a week ago, we're talking about Jokeris and Zubi. Come on. Just imagine the scenes if we told Arsenal fans in January or right after that PSG second leg that we would sign Noni Madueke for 50 million in the summer as our left winger. This can't be real. Just give us a moment. Like, this is what I'm saying. It's all this. It's not that bad. What are you talking about? He's a good player. Da, 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 da. Like, nah, bro. Give us a minute. This give us a good minute. Ash says there's no point in crashing out today if you are just going to cave in and support the signing tomorrow. Well, Ash, the reality is, you know, it's not really Nani's fault, you know, that he's being signed. And even if Arteta goes, he'll most likely still be here with the next manager. So I get no value in hoping the player does poorly or not giving him my support. What I'm giving less of my support to is Mikel Arteta because this is on him. You know, this is on him. This is on the hierarchy. And they're already like, I'm already kind of like on the end with Arteta anyway, because I would have been looking for a new manager this summer, you know, so my lack of support is going towards Mikel, not the signing, because he is an Arsenal Football Club player. He's not just an Arteta player. Even when Arteta goes, if and when he does go, he'll be an Arsenal player. So I get absolutely nothing for not supporting him. You know, it's, and what am I going to do? You know, plus I'm over here. You know, what am I going to do? There's nothing I can do. You know, I can't do anything from here but support, you know. This preseason will be brutal if the real attacking signings don't come in beforehand or Arsenal sign the sporting striker. If they ever pull the finger out, stop bullshitting. Diallo, thank you so much for your super chat. Says, why now? Why so fast? Why this guy? Arg. Whenever it's a player that we don't need, that's not good, that comes from Chelsea, that deal gets done very quickly. It's just nuts. I mean, people are asking the right questions, and I feel like there's people now that were probably a lot more agreeable last summer that are a lot less agreeable now, and that's how it should be. You know, your as new information comes in, your opinion should change. And you know, last summer was just too big of a fuck up to get to this Nani signing and for you to be sitting here in my face telling me to just get behind the signing, you know. Um, all you have to do is ask yourself, does this signing get us closer to the finish line? And it doesn't, you know, it doesn't. It doesn't, you know. So the Cronkies and Todd Bowley need to be investigated. If it doesn't make sense, we do it. That's what we do. Would like to see a 4-4-2 with Zubi and Marino going Arsenal Sociedad. I can't even start thinking about that. What we're going to look like and what formation. I need to see new players in. We haven't gotten any attackers in as far as I'm concerned. So we still need attackers. Jess, is Madueke even going to have a preseason with us? He's been at the Club World Cup. I don't know. You know, I don't know. He's going to be off for like what, 2 weeks? So, yeah, he probably will have a preseason with us because if he's off for the next 2 weeks, he'll join right when we're going to Asia, you know. So he'll be here. Will Arsenal sign Eze and Mascara and the striker? I don't know. Romano said Madueke key target for weeks. Does that sound like a backup right wing? You better hope PSG destroy Chelsea because both Spurs and Chelsea play PSG. And if either one of them beat them, they're going to be gassed, you know, because we didn't beat them. So, yeah. 80 million from the Club World Cup so far, 57 million from Madueke and Kepa, 25 million for Petrovic, soon 12 million for somebody. FFP problem sorted. There's always an Arsenal, Arsenal deal to be done. They always know that they can count on Arsenal to give them money when they're in trouble. And people are actually like, oh, it's okay. It just makes so much sense. Like, it doesn't. I swear to God, if we beat PSG and have that I swear to God, if we beat PSG and have that Club World Cup badge for 4 years, we spent 20 million more. Rodrigo is a needle mover, but a star, a kind of player Arteta is allergic to. Yeah, disgusting. The first game is July 23rd. So yeah, in 2 weeks, you know, he should be, you know, chomping at the bit to get here and try to change the narrative around him. You know, so 2 weeks maybe, and then he'll come to Asia possibly. It's such a dark day. It's always dark. Bruh. I need the Fenerbahce to come with that money so we can get Eze. I will never welcome Nani with open arms. The Kroenke should sell the club to Kuwait sheikhs who will spend money on quality players. I feel like we need to wait and see how the window develops before making our judgment. I just don't think it's fair to write a player off just yet. I mean, it's just so difficult because it's never ended differently, I feel. There's only small variance when we buy players from Chelsea. They're either just as bad as we thought they were going to be, and the best that they can probably be is serviceable. And so when you know that, and it's like it's never been different. We've never bought a player from them where they were anything more than serviceable or a pleasant surprise that they just weren't as bad as we thought they were going to be. Even Georgie, he was good for us, but he wasn't a level raiser, and he's definitely not somebody that we were crying because he left, you know, so and they're definitely not players that Chelsea are sad to lose, you know. So listen, they still have to. Oh, there's a big old fly in here now. They still have to buy 2 top quality attackers because they still have not filled the quota yet. They bought this guy and he's not a top quality attacker, so they still have work to do. When he plays for us, I'm going to expect to when he plays for us, I'm going to obviously back him, and I'm not going to want the worst for him. Obviously, like I don't want him to fail, so I can say, "Oh my gosh, like I told you so." But I'm just very unenthused by this signing in every way, shape, and form. Arsenal are expecting to ramp up their pursuit of Crystal Palace's Eberechi Eze, have been looking to add more depth on the flanks and have acted quickly after identifying Madueke as a key target. Well, get him in. I'm tired of hearing we're expected to ramp up our pursuit. Just do it, man. Just do it. What you waiting on? Act like it's a bum from Chelsea and then start acting quick, Man, so sick of this club sometimes. You already know Orny gonna come with that BS story about how we looked at Gordon and Rodrigo, but ultimately Noni was more feasible. Throw the club in the bin. Mal, thank you so much for your super chat. I really appreciate it. Whatever, I don't care anymore. As long as the signing has no impact on Gyökeres or Eze, I have no issue with Madueke joining again. As long as we have the money to be doing that, then it's cool. Which I hear that, and maybe, I do think that, they'll still go out and get other players. It's just they need to go ahead and do it quickly. So yeah, let's see. Turkish said this ain't a goosebumps, but a skin disease. Oh my god. But yeah, Jacob Steinberg is saying that we're ramping up the Eze talks now, or ramping up our pursuit. Trossard going definitely, I think, has something to do with that. And yeah, Trossard is probably gonna go. So just get Eze. He's saying he's a ball carrier, but I'm like, carrying it to where? Maybe, I mean, he's gonna need confidence and some coaching. He's gonna need a lot. I'm looking at a comp of him right now that popped up on the timeline, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, this guy needs some work. Lots of work. Sleepy messy out, Noni in. I feel sick. Carrying it to the clock end. You think if I go to sleep just now, I'll wake up and this will only be a dream? I wish. Carrying it to the clock end, Madueke for Trossard seems very unfair, definitely for sure. Let's see. If Trossard goes, we'll actually be worse off. Carrying it to the ball boy. I am very happy with Norgard. Very happy Noni is good if his Trossard replacement. I would honestly love to see an interview with Arteta where he breaks down the qualities that made him want Nani. It's going to be all bullshit, like, we needed these qualities, and, he's a young player that just needs to, it's bullshit, Nani here now, so let's support him. Shame on the club, though. Fair. Jess, I think you missed could have had my super chats, but whatever. I don't care anymore. Let's see. A couple more came in, like, in the last couple minutes. My group chats are popping off. Guys are mad, as they should be. As they should be. All this whole, you don't have any right to be upset. It's a signing and it's a backup. Don't you want Saka's legs to not fall off? Like, yeah, okay. There's a reason why people are upset. And the reason why is because this guy, you have to squint to see it. Arteta needs to fix it. But yeah, they know they need to keep feeding us these as a, drop feeding us this, because without that, there's nothing to be excited about. Trust and believe. But yeah, I'm thinking it's Nani and Eze, to be fair. I don't think we'll actually get Rodrigo. And I also feel like Rodrigo, last couple of little reports that came out, is he does really want to stay. And so unless they kick him out, which it doesn't feel like they're actually kicking him out, he may not even go, so I don't know. Let's get Glock 9, Eze, and Mascara. Just in hindsight, would you rather had Sane as a Saka backup? Oh my goodness. It's like, do you want Nani or do you want Sane? Like, is there any good option? It's just about Nani because I know I can't watch another old, like a Willian type of thing happen to us again. So probably just about Nani, but it's not by much. My thing is this: buy the player if they like him, but don't pay over 50 million and gaslight me into thinking he's good. He also does a Napa player have to cost a backup player have to cost a whopping 50 million. These are the questions we should be asking. Rodrigo will come after W Cup and when Jesus is released. Hi sis, much love. Dear, keep it up. May Jar bless you. Thank you so much. Forced signing of the window. Berta is moving fast. I'm still waiting on a game-changing signing, Tayo. That's what I'm waiting on. An actual signing that makes a difference. Zuby makes a difference, but that signing has been done. I was done before him, so ah, bruh. Give me some copium, man. I need it. They're showing me his carrying numbers. I'm like, carrying me to where? And Saka's numbers are really good. His carrying numbers are significantly better than Martinelli and Trossard, but the same basically as Saka. But what about the other stuff, like dribbling into blind alleys? I'm actually really going to be sad about Trossard. I cannot lie. I'm going to be really sad about Trossard if he does end up going. That is a great squad player, man. A good player that's scoring actual goals. Not Noni. Well, they can't show you his GA because he ain't got any. Stats show that Madueke is good off the right, but poor playing on the left. He's probably a good backup for Saka, but an expensive backup purchase. It's hard position to fill. We need that Martinelli oil money. Trossard always gave us hope that whenever he came on, he was going to score for us. Yeah, I'm sad about that. I can't lie, you guys. Like, I know that it's a lot of people do not like Trossard, but this is a very much so a Trossard friendly channel. I have no bad words to say about a player that consistently scored goals for us. Consistently scored goals for us. He's just a good player, man. I can see my internet's going down a little bit, so hopefully it'll smooth out in a second. But these are his numbers. So for people that are like, they're so good. Okay. You like these numbers? Looking good to you? It's just okay. Like the progressive carries and the take-ons are pretty good. And he takes a lot of touches in the attacking penalty area and gets a lot of progressive passes passed to him. That's pretty much it. His XG is very high, but his goals don't match that really. His non-penalty XG and stuff like that. So he gets into good positions. He just doesn't put the ball in the back of the net. He takes a lot of shots too. I had saw like something about he takes quite a few shots, but he's not somebody that particularly creates a lot for other people. He is a selfish guy, so he is going to be taking lots of shots and doing a lot of stuff for himself. But we getting ball carrying, baby, ball carrying in the house. That's it. Alex says, what is Arteta doing? What is Arsenal doing at this rate? I think they're trying to get us mad. He is very selfish. Um, don't gonna be sad about Trossard. You look finished towards the end of the season. It's unlike Arsenal to let the player go at the right time, which is what needs to happen. The thing is, though, is even though I feel sad about Trossard going potentially, that doesn't mean that I want him to stay necessarily. I think it is the right time for him to go, but that doesn't stop me from feeling sad about the player going. Um, I really do like Trossard. I think he was really kind of disrespected by a lot of people in this fan base. He's one of our we've had. He's performed since the very moment that he's gotten here. He had to step up when starting players were not playing well, and did a pretty good job. Was he perfect? No, but he was a player that really surprised me, and I am going to be sad, when he goes. I am. Let's get Doku to pair with the Duke duo. Okay. Teo says, Jess, I can't wait for the stream when Noni does something good in an important game. Arteta will turn him into a devastating system player. All I'm going to say is that I'm not going to do the thing like people have been doing with Havertz. And, because he scored a couple goals here and there, that all of a sudden that means that it was a good signing. At this point, a good signing helps push us over the line, especially if you're spending 50 million on them. If it's just a goal against Palace, I'm not trying to hear about that. Like, he needs to be performing, high quality in Champions League, in the games that he comes in. So he's not getting the Havertz treatment from me where we're going to be, but he worked so hard off the ball. Remember that when we first got Havertz, it was like, yeah, but look at the running metrics. I'm not doing running metrics. I'm not doing, underlying metrics, goals, assists, expected assists, expected, that kind of stuff. We need to up the levels, Jess, you are very good at talking football, and I commend on what you're doing. Thank you, but right now I'm not even talking football. I'm just losing my head. And that's it. I'm just a passionate fan that wants to see my football club do well. And unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't come out in the best way. And, I'm not trying to be, toxic or negative or anything like that. But this signing has really just, I don't get it, you guys. I really don't. I'm trying to understand it, but I don't. A manager complaining about XG and then signing an XG merchant is something. Norgard, Kepa, Zubamendi, and Madueke in phase 6 is mad work. The project just died. Win now or leave. But you are being negative. I am being negative, but there's nothing to be positive about because Spencer, you guys still can't give me any reason why this player is good enough to play for Arsenal. If you need a backup that's cheap, and we'll take, low wages, you can hire me, and I'll do it, but the reality is you're allowed to be negative about signings that make absolutely no sense. And there is no positive spin on it because you guys can't even convince me that he's a decent player. You guys are saying things like he's not that bad or, it's okay. Like he's just a backup, but you don't believe he's a good player. So if you can't convince me, then why are you, you don't even rate him. You guys are mad about people being negative, but you don't even rate him yourself, so what is that about? A backup ain't 52 million. He's coming in as a starter. Martinelli better start learning Arabic, but he's better than Martinelli's better than him. So your whole house burnt down. Why are you being negative? Chelsea needs money. I do not see any other reason. This will always have the was it worth the 50 million question, like Havertz coming in for 65 million. Exactly. Again, the money isn't the issue as long as it doesn't hinder future business in the window. And usually it does. And I think that's why Banksy people are having a hard time coming to grips with it because there's no trust. Where did you hear we have 300 million in the bank? This is what I'm saying. Like there's no confirmation of a 300 million budget. There's no trust in the manager, the transfer team getting anything done. Usually we do a signing like this and then they start lowering the expectations. Ornstein comes out with some sort of big article about, how this is actually what's going to happen. So pardon me, but they're going to actually have to show me, that this is not bullshit. Because right now people are like, it's just a right wing, it's just fine. But when he pops up on the left, I'm gonna be looking at y'all like, is he just playing on the left? Is he just playing on the right? Diallo, thank you so much for your super chat. Says, can we swap Olivia Smith for Madueke, please? I mean, the standard and the level that we've brought in for Arsenal women should be a wake-up call for the men. We brought in Russo, Mariona Caldente, a world-class player, a Ballon d'Or probably winner, by the way, and Olivia Smith in the last 3 windows, and we won a Champions League. After a Champions League win, they went out and got a player and spent $1 million, which is a lot in women's football, on one of the best and brightest players in the league. The men are buying Madueke. Yeah, sad days. Mal, thank you so much for your super chat. Says 6 forwards, Arteta signed 4 are from Chelsea, but they're excited. Like, they're like, what's the big deal? Like, come on, man. We got to get over this. Super Kai says it's not going to happen, but I hope Gyökeres and Eze elevate Martinelli to get back to his best so we not have to see Madueke play any minutes at left wing. She's think he's a backup for 52 million. You should charge your name. She doesn't know football. I don't know who you're talking to because I didn't say he was a backup. Z says, Arsenal have lost the season before it's even started. These are average players they're signing. Who are you signing, by the way? Tile says, I watched Ian Wright in his prime. He came in and pushed Big Kev out. Kanu and Wiltord were top. Havertz was a bad signing. Noni is a great signing. You will see with your eyes. This is on Arteta. Okay. Whichever backup for sake, who is almost as good whichever backup for Saka, who is almost as good, was always going to be 35 to 50 million. Anything less is borderline Nelson Kenya type. He's just not good enough. Dank says the best clubs have expensive backups, but they're also good. Arteta is going to have goosebumps from all the hate he's getting. Wait, and you see Noni will come good. He's still young, you know. We still talk about Martinelli being young, and he's 24. But okay. Is the Nicholas Jackson rumors true? They better not be. You better go get Gyökeres. If they turn around, I'm not watching us if we get Nicholas Jackson. You know? People are trying to make sense of our transfer dealings. There's no making sense of it. Arsenal bought they just bought Noni Madueke. Give him 30, 30 or 99 or something like that. Don't let him even get anywhere near a 14 or a 10, and be serious about Eze tomorrow, because my goodness, this is dark times. Dark times. I mean, Madueke is 23, Saka is 23. Look at the difference. If we sign Victor and Eze, I will forgive this madness. It will go a long way, because we said we needed to get in at least 2 good attackers, and right now we haven't done that. He's just a body, as far as I'm concerned, unless he does something different or turns into a completely different player. They better do something over the weekend. I'm losing it. So isn't the fact that we buy from Chelsea solely because they have good deal terms proof alone that our owners don't give a dog's bollocks about winning? Right. And we don't even utilize it to our advantage laundry basket. It's like, okay, if you get Madueke and you have him on low terms, so we only have to pay a little amount up front. I can stomach that if you go big, Rodrigo, Eze, Gyökeres, but we're not going to do that. The low terms are just for the cronkies. It's not to make sure you can reinvest into more positions. Spencer says, personally, I think Madueke is better than Trossard. He just hasn't been able to show it at that wasteland that's Chelsea. Okay. Eddie says, if we buy Nicholas Jackson, we should abolish the club, not even relegation, just dissolve it. Dissolve the club as the Cronkies sent the mines for using our club to launder money. I mean, at that point, you're just, you're Dortmund. Dortmund are the type of club that, we might as well just buy young players and sell them for lots of money, never have any, expectations of actually really beating Bayern to anything, take their leftovers. And then, when we have good players, let them have them. We're so similar to Dortmund. It's actually scary, but at least they make money off of the players that they develop. We don't even make any money. My goodness. What you doing down there, honey? What are you doing? Um, Jess can't lose with Ruby Rose. Jess, would you agree that if we're seeing problems with Saka in training, this signing does make more sense? Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just feel like there's other players that you could look at. I think the idea that Noni is the only player that we could have gotten, or it's just like we had to get him, it doesn't sit well with me. Now, if Saka is struggling or he doesn't look the same, you absolutely need to get a right wing. But my pushback to that is, why him? Why him? He's not special. He's not good. He's not somebody that we watch and we're like, yeah, like, no. So I think ultimately I'm down with the idea that we need a right wing to protect Saka. I'm down with that 110%. But what I'm not down with is just giving Chelsea money for players that nobody rates. Maybe Arsenal rate, but Arteta likes players that are average, that he can put into his system, and they kind of work in the system, but we have a cap. We have a talent deficiency in the attacking area. And they said they needed X factor 2 seasons ago, and he doesn't solve that. He doesn't bring any X factor. He doesn't even really bring goals. Like, it's hard. It's hard to give any sort of positivity to the signing, because you could have, again, Malik Fofana is on the market, and I would not be surprised if we woke up tomorrow and Chelsea had put in a bid for him because he was waiting for a Champions League club, and he's a really good. Honey, can you stop? I wouldn't be surprised if they went and got him. He is waiting for a Champions League club. He's a really good young Belgian player. His whole life ahead of him, no stink on him, fresh. Plays on the left and the right. Really tricky, nice player that we could get. We're not going after him. Akliush on the market right now. Bayer Leverkusen and Bayern are both interested in him. He has Gyökeres' agent, so we would have at least the ear of the agent, because we're talking to Gyökeres as well. Ignored him as well. Much better and much more talented player than Noni Madueke. Could have gone and got Bakayoko, the new player, the new Noni from PSV. No stink, no narrative, no needing therapy because he's been abused by Chelsea. Like, there's plenty of things that you could have done other than what we're doing now. I think he has a strong physical presence and dribbling that will make us relentless on the right half space. We'll be in for him in 3 years after he's been at Chelsea for 2. Saka was rushed back to shut fans up about January. Now he's struggling, and that's why Madueke was prioritized. Let's see, Mr. Bandana, aka Man Them Martinelli, will be playing for us next season. I cannot believe it. This signing is going to set us back years. Said, come on, Jess. He's strong. He's quick, direct. He creates chaos in the box. He just lacks end product efficiency, but that can be fixed in training. Okay. You guys think he's strong and quick and direct and good. Okay. When I just see a player that just exacerbates the problems that we already have. We lack players with the finishing touch, and he just adds to that. So it is what it is. It's happening. So after signing Madueke, signing Gyökeres and Eze would be the minimum right now. But sadly, I think that would mean when Yeri leaves or we don't get Rodrigo. Rodrigo is definitely out, I think. I just don't think we're gonna get him now. It's just the money attached to it. I want to believe, but I don't. But maybe, they're literally putting up fail comps of him now. So bad. We're such a joke. Noni only replaces Raheem Sterling, so Trossard must be getting replaced by Eze. That's the only thing that makes sense. Trossard and Eze are not similar in that way unless, like, he actually is playing on the left. If he's playing on the, like, you just see what I'm saying? Like, ugh, I hate what we've done. I hate the uncertainty around the window. I hate that it's not clear. We will be there when Arteta cries about fine margins and we're out of the cups, and people will say, oh my gosh, he didn't get the players that he wanted. Berta let him down. Like, no. hats off to the peeps who are trying to put a positive spin on Madueke deal, but I am yet to be convinced. Finishing isn't Madueke's forte, and we sell Trossard. My head is hurting. It's less goals in the team, basically. I don't want to see any Arsenal YouTubers defend this deal. We deserve to be laughed at for this deal. Just let it happen. They'll be defending it tomorrow. Tomorrow morning we'll wake up and there'll be several of them talking about what they see and like why is everybody so upset and all that kind of stuff. They do it every time. But won't the Gyökeres and Eze signings balance the lack of finesse you see with Madueke? We need a bit more unpredictability. They only balance it out if they come in, and that's the most important thing. We have a clear run at Eze. He already rejected Spurs, which is why they went with Morgan Gibbs White. We all know he only wants Arsenal. It's been said multiple times. We already spoke to him. Personal terms agreed. We just need to talk to Crystal Palace and get it done. Rodrigo could also be considered a reclamation project. His attitude seems so low and down at the moment. Yeah, but he's just a much better player. Like, you can do fix it if the player is actually good. Nobody rates Noni, so it's not just that he's a project. He's also just not that good. Simon says Arsenal fans love to show their asses online. Sheesh. Well, turn right around. I don't know what to tell you. Perry says, are we even rivals anymore as we part of Chelsea's multi-club model? Adeyemi, high energy and great football IQ. He's just like Martinelli to me. This still warrants a proper, thorough investigation. I agree. It's like, what are we doing? It doesn't make any sense, but, let's see what happens. I ordered a sandwich, and I bet you that shit is sitting out in the damn sun. The food. Is that what you guys were barking about earlier? Probably. Cuties. I was like, why are they barking so hard? Yeah, my sandwich is here. But listen, tomorrow, maybe I will have slept on it and not been so angry. I'm not going to lie and say that tomorrow I'll think that he's good, because I won't. But I won't be as like angry. But I needed to have the crash out, because if I don't do the crash out, then I just feel like I'm being disingenuous and like I need to get out. So for everybody that doesn't like this type of content or just feels like, I think you're mostly just thinking about protecting the club and, not understanding the true emotions of a lot of Arsenal fans and why they don't like these signings. It's very difficult for a lot of people to get from, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're signing this, Chelsea reject or a Chelsea leftover, to it's a fine signing. It's 50 million. It's not really what we need. It's not somebody that we would ever really want. So excuse me, but I needed that and I'm glad I got it. So if you don't like it, oh well. So yeah, but make sure you guys are, liking the video, subscribing to the channel on the way out. I do think I went through every single super chat, and to everybody that put in super chats, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I think Heaton Up said, I would have rather gotten Semenyo or Lookman, which I understand in this situation. You definitely, probably would have. Diallo says something about this just don't smell right. It doesn't smell right. It's just a terrible signing. I'm sorry. But I do think I read all of them, and I do appreciate all of you guys putting in those super chats. That was really, really sweet of you. And I will put it to good use when I'm getting my coffee addiction up, because you guys understand that that's what I use this stuff for. But yeah, I'm going to go enjoy my sandwich and go back to watching Love Island, because I'm trying to catch up. And I was like about 4 episodes back. So yeah, but we'll talk about this tomorrow again. And hopefully, I'm hoping that I wake up and we get some other news about some other actual good players. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye, my loves.